the boys DMR. This is where we're going to see some fireworks again, both on the track and on the sidelines.
And I will say, I am cracking up at this. I don't know if you can see fully on the camera here, but the walkout intensity that these relays are getting with our team from Rocket City and Whippet coming out, Racing City, so getting the intro on the big screen here. It is quite the celebrity treatment these teams are getting.
And they do this just for the championship section. So there you saw number 8, that was Nittany Track and Field. And here, wearing hip number 7, is Calvert Hall College. They're going to be anchored by Cameron Davis. Wearing hip number 6 is going to be Benton High School out of Illinois. They've got Gavin Ganesio on their anchor leg.
The Jersey boys out of Union Catholic coming down the track now, seed 5. They've got a 10-12 seed, Valley Project Track Club, also a New Jersey-based team.
And they're your national record holders, so you know they've got a big target on their back. But don't count out Phillips Academy out of Exeter, New Hampshire. They've got hip number 3, and they've got Tamrat Gavanas on their anchor leg. And then Westfield Track Club out of New Jersey will wear hip number 2.
And coming out of the top seed, the team to watch, we have Ridgefield High School out of Connecticut. Those polka dots are hard to miss, that's for sure.
They sure are. Look good, feel good, and in this case, look fast, feel fast. So again, the times here ranging from 10:02 to 10:24. 10:02 courtesy of Ridgefield. But we have a 10:06 seed from Westfield and several 10:10 up to 10:14 seeds as well. This, I think, is going to be a true race, and you know that teams have put their very best runners on track for this 12, 4, 8, 16 combo, fastest section, championship boys, DMR.
And we will see on the anchor legs, you know, a bunch of these teams have a guy who can run in the, 4:10 or even faster. And if they're going to be in contention for the title, we might see some seriously fast splits. As the race gets underway with the 1,200-meter runners, Ridgefield takes the lead on the inside as they run the break. And that looks like the Racing City team right on his shoulder, stripes versus dots.
Well, and Racing City performed so well last night in that championship boys 4x1 mile. They were 6th as a team, and they have 3 of those 4 returning for this DMR, only swapping out their 400-meter leg. So they've got some sting in their legs already, but also, having shaken out the nerves with a really solid performance last evening on this track, they've got to be feeling good coming into this DMR.
Yeah, and you can see the lead here with a pretty big pack. Everyone is still in contention here. It's early, but right now it is very much anybody's race in this distance medley relay fast section championship. And while the team from Racing City continues to lead, everybody else is lined up, licking their chops, ready to unleash that kick and get it to their 400-meter leg.
Well, it's Rocket City behind Racing City, and Rocket City, another team that went head-to-head with our leaders last night in that 4x1. They are returning 2 of their 4 as well. So these guys have already gone up against each other at this Reggie Lewis Center once this weekend. And now, as I say that, on the outside, it is a big move by Rocket City. Rocket City has Charles Hunter Pearson listed as their anchor, as their leadoff leg. And they will be in a slight advantage position heading into a quarter mile to go. 400 meters, and everyone is really still in this thing.
And
now Racing City regaining their lead, and to their inside, I think that's Westfield. So lots of back and forth, cat and mouse. And with 200 meters to go, Westfield back into the lead. Westfield with Tej Meda as their leadoff leg.
And we now see Ridgefield, the pre-race favorites, Charles Lovett, covering the move by the Westfield runner, sticking right on his tail. So Westfield and Ridgefield handing off stride for stride going into the 400. And that's Emmanuel Guyanillo, and for Ridgefield, Aiden Nelson. But wow, Guyanillo has blown this thing wide open in only 100 meters.
But a big move here on the outside behind him for Valley. That's Valley Project.
And the Nelson for Ridgefield, you know, he's going to want to just hang on to the back of that Valley Project runner as best he can and try to mitigate the damage that the Westfield team has absolutely wrought on the field right now.
Well, Guyanillo will hand off to the 800-meter leg with the better part of a 4 or 5 second advantage over Ridgefield, and that is a cushion that you want to be sitting on.
50 flat for the Westfield runner there. That is a fantastic split. They have a exactly 3 second advantage at the exchange. We'll see if they can hang on to that. But the Ridgefield team followed closely by the Valley Project crew. That's a couple runners on a mission here. That's Calvert Hall that has attached himself to the chasers as the Westfield runner out in front. And it is halfway through the 800-meter leg. The gap has shrunk by a little bit, but not a ton, as the Ridgefield runner tries to reel in the leader for Westfield. We believe that's James Gildea, chased by Magnus Manley from Ridgefield. And going into that anchor leg, Ridgefield does have a 4:09 guy in Steven Hergenrother on the anchor. So if he can be close to that front, he'll be able to contend for the win, as Westfield continues to lead thanks to Gilday. But the gap has shrunk. And with one last exchange on the docket, it looks like it is Westfield's race to lose right now, but all that could change quite fast as they hand off to these 1,600-meter legs. As they come through a really strong run by Gilday to get the stick around with a decent cushion here.
Well, and he's handing off to Avery Keith, who's a Princeton commit out of Westfield High School, and he's a 4:13 1600 runner from earlier this month, I should say. So we know that he's in a position to feel really good anchoring this team.
And believe it or not, this is some Princeton on Princeton racing, because Hergenrother is also headed to New Jersey next year to compete for the Tigers.
Oh, you love that. A friendly rivalry, if you will, but certainly...
Well, we know they're living together next year.
That's right. Wanting to throw down on each other here in their final year of high school and their final New Balance National Indoor Championships. And I think we're going to have a really good race on our hand, because there is still 6.5 laps for these anchor legs, and the close happening just off screen. You can see that our leader right now, Avery, is ahead of the pace lights, but just barely.
And Keith has the slower PB on paper, but he's also got a couple seconds advantage on Hergenrother.
And he's going to need those, because Hergenrother is making that gap quickly disappear with every stride. He's going to have to work hard, keep those eyes up, and pace himself. You don't want to do it all at once, but you know that you need to keep chipping away at that lead. Do you want to be the chaser or the chased in this scenario?
Always the chaser.
Always the chaser. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I think it's such an advantage to just know how much you have in front of you and to have that target out there. And I think the other thing too is just the ability to run by yourself when you're running scared with the weight of your teammates' expectations on you. It's a hard thing to do. It's a lot of pressure. And as these runners compete for the championship. The stakes could not be higher as Keith takes them around through halfway. They came through in 7:56, so that's about a 2:04 first 800 for Keith. And what looks like something like a 2:02 for Hergenrother. So these guys got out and got after it, and the gap has shrunk, but it hasn't shrunk that much, and we're starting to see Keith come back to Hergenrother now a little bit.
Well, and you got to know that Keith is getting that feedback from coach and teammates on the infield who have been running back and forth across this facility trying to offer information and encouragement. He knows the threat behind him. He knows that he's coming. And he also knows that those pace lights are quickly disappearing in front of him. So he's got to keep the foot on the gas here. Inside 3 laps to go here at the Reggie Lewis Center in the fastest section of the championship boys DMR.
And this tri-state battle between the team from Connecticut and the team through New Jersey continues as they will have 400 meters remaining coming around this turn. And Keith continues to just drive away, keeping his composure as best he can. And as they both have to navigate some lapped runners, this is going to be an absolute nail-biter coming down as the championship title is determined once and for all over the final 300 meters of this race, and it is going to be a race.
This is a barn burner. You can see the injection of speed here. He's in his sights, and they are almost neck and neck. Hergenrother versus Keith with 1 lap to go, 9:31 on the clock. It's going to be a fast race, and it's going to be a tight one, but Avery Keith has no interest in letting Hergenrother go.
You could see him try to respond as Hergenrother swung around, but will it be enough as with 100 meters to go, Hergenrother is looking strong, opening into his stride. Keith is fighting every ounce of his body, willing himself to that finish line as the sparks fly. And as they come into the home stretch one last time, it's Hergenrother of Rootfield High School taking the title. 10:01.13, an incredible run.
And a 4:04 1600 final leg there. 4:04 for Hergenrother to the answer of 4:09 thanks to Avery Keith. 4:09 a spectacular time, but 4:04 for both Hergenrother and Genesio. And we should say that Isaac Opperman ran 4 flat to bring his team of the Nittany Track and Field to 4th place. But it is this gentleman on the track right now who closed it for his team and brought home a victory here at the 2024 New Balance Indoor Nationals.
What a performance and what a fantastic race. You know, the DMR is all about that full team effort, and at every point in the competition, these guys were throwing down. They were stride for stride at the first handoff, and they were stride for stride at the finish line. And as these guys come down the stretch, you can tell the grit on Keith's face after doing so much leading, the determination. You know, I don't think even Hergenrother thought this race was in the bag at any point on that home stretch. He knew Keith was right on his shoulder, and as they crossed the finish line, it's just so clear that both runners gave it their all and left it all on the track.
So a new national lead of 10:01.13 for Ridgefield. Westfield Track Club second in 10:01.92, a nice improvement for them as well. And then 10:09.33 for Benton. And that will conclude our boys DMR action for the day.